is up, bros? I'm Caleb.
And I'm Jonathan.
And we are a couple of bros.
It's true. You are a couple of bros.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I got cocky.
I've known each other since junior high. Yeah.
I know.
They're a couple of bros just watching movies. Sometimes they invite someone into their home to watch a movie with them. Today it was me. Hi, I'm DJ. We're going to break down these movies one movie at a time, and we're going to do it fair. We're going to do it with a grading system. Don't you worry about it. You know what movie we're watching. It's Madam Web, everybody.
That's perfect. That was perfect. On to the headliner.
Yeah, that was perfection. Because I got cocky. I was like, I don't need the outline, which has like the script up. I'm like, because I haven't used it in the past like few weeks. Nope, definitely needed it.
Oh shit.
Anyway, welcome to the All Bros. This week we are joined by our official third host,
Hello.
DJ from the Untrained Eye.
Hello, I'm doing a deep bow.
Yeah, what the hell, DJ?
Yeah, I know. Listen, we're adults out here, you know. Don't you look over here bragging with your 2 kids, and I still do a podcast every week. Ugh. Like, we get it. You're very good at your job, but one day.
Wait, we get paid?
Huh?
We get paid for this?
Yes. Well, it's more of an internship. I mean,
we get paid in memories. There we go.
I'll cut you part of my
experience.
There we go.
Yeah, the show is it's not dead, but it's just on a deep hiatus. Yeah. There you go.
It's a medically induced coma.
Something like that. That's actually a good way to describe it. One day we're just gonna wake up. We're back.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
Yeah. So if you guys are, I guess we haven't brought it up yet, but so this week we really don't have anything to talk about in Weekly Watch. I don't know if I've watched a movie this week.
I know I haven't.
Yeah.
No. I was going to watch Beetlejuice, but then I didn't have the time to.
Did you guys, either of you, watch the new short movie, the Spider-Verse Tale or whatever that they just released?
Yes, I did watch that.
I did not.
Did you watch it?
No.
It's very clearly, it was supposed to be, I feel like, released in like October, because it feels very like spooky a little bit. There's a sleep paralysis demon and everything. I don't know. It was very good.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Well, wasn't it released on the day that the part 2 was supposed to come out?
Yes. Which, by the way, I didn't realize that. That is hilarious that they're like,
psych.
There's something to hold you guys over for the next like 3 years.
Really thought.
Yeah. So I watched the whole video, and I was scrolling through the comments, and someone's like, "This is bullshit. They were supposed to release the Beyond the Spider-Verse movie today."
Listen, I'll take it. I'll take whatever you want to give me. Okay. It was new Spider-Verse material. I will take it.
Yeah. I dug it. I thought it was a pretty good short.
I'll tell you this, I watched it and I was like, God, that was really short. It was 7 minutes long. It didn't seem like it was that long. Like it went by like part 1, like, or Into the Spider-Verse or whatever. Like it was just 2.5 hours that was over like that. So that's how that felt too. Like it was, I can't wait for that it's going to be the last movie Across the Spider-Verse. Is that what it's called?
No, Beyond the Spider-Verse. I
cannot wait. When is it supposed to be released?
I don't think they have a date.
They don't.
Anymore.
Yeah, no.
I thought it was an April Fool's thing. I heard it was like it was postponed indefinitely.
That I don't know.
Yeah,
let me see. So Beyond the Spider-Verse,
please. Liz, while you're looking, I need to make a quick rant real quick since I don't have my own podcast anymore at this time. April Fools. Listen, companies, I know you're all listening right now. And I know this one isn't going on to the internet video style, but I'm looking directly into the camera. I hate you. Stop making April Fool's things. Oh, we're going to start making forks now instead of cars. Shut up. Nobody cares about your stupid, dumb April Fool's joke. We're going to start whatever. No, stop. Oh, look, we're just going to lie to you and it's hilarious because it's April Fool's. No, you're doing it wrong. This is like when you turn your thing rainbow for Pride Month. No one believes you. You don't care about gay people. You also don't care about fooling. So shut your ass up and move on. Leave the fooling to the people. The end. End of rant.
Preach, DJ. I agree.
Yeah, no joke. Yeah, so Spider-Verse does not have an official release date, and it apparently, I don't think that was an April Fool's joke. It says that it was indefinitely delayed.
Shit.
That is horsepucky.
That sucks.
So it says Sony also delayed Venom 3.
Oh, no.
Oh, what?
Yeah. So it was
geez.
it was supposed to come out in July. They moved it over or back to November, and now they've moved it forward to October.
Jeez, okay. God, Sony, pick a day.
Yeah, no shit. And yeah, still nothing about. I'm gonna make sure this didn't come out yesterday.
I mean, listen,
like this article.
We're about to go over why Sony is just giving its death throes out into the movie universe. So,
dude, freaking, I'm going to choose to blame Madam Web for Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire not doing as great as it should right now, because when Sony saw how bad the box office was for that movie, I feel they pulled back, especially on the publicity for Frozen Empire, and just didn't want to showcase they actually had a good movie coming out. And I don't know. I question Sony's decisions with Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, because there was that. Literally, they had it on the week of the 29th, so this past weekend, which would have been perfect for Easter weekend. They should have kept it, but then they decided to move it up 1 week. Warner Brothers took that spot for Godzilla X Kong, and because they took that spot, that freaking destroyed Ghostbusters at the box office. And just what Sony, oh my god, just so many bad decisions by Sony.
Sony hasn't been making very strong decisions.
No, they haven't.
I think I saw now the Sony Marvel-averse consists of the Venom movies, the Venom movies, Morbius. I guess, well, Into the Spider-Verse wouldn't count because it's not live action. But what's the other? There's one other live action one I'm forgetting.
Craven.
Okay, well, yes, Craven will happen. Jesus. Anyway, so Spider-Verse has been delayed indefinitely, and we're all worse for it. Thank you, Sony, for nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, with fun April Fool's jokes, Sony, you're an idiot. We all hate you.
Yeah, Sony is freaking drowning this year, while Warner Brothers is freaking eating heavy. They're like,
I love it. Listen, Warner Brothers, they need to relax, because they all of a sudden they think they're something. It's so much so that they've tried to bring back multiverses. Hey man, no, don't do this. Like you Smash Brothers won. Just relax. You people already forgot about you. Don't do this again. Don't try and bring this back again. Just fade into the whatever you're doing. Make another Harry Potter or something, and just stop making people pay attention to you. Like, they're not going to like you again.
I don't know, man.
I don't know about that. I think Warner Brothers, like, depending on how the new Superman movie goes, I think that it's going to be DC's time to shine for a little while, at least.
Oh, is Warner Brothers who is in charge of DC?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess it is, huh? Yeah. I mean, listen, James Gunn, this is his moment. This is whether we're going to see whether James Gunn was just good for the specific ragtag of Marvel heroes, or if he is able to actually, Joss Whedon style, bring in a whole universe together and do something with it. By the way, I've been saying for weeks now, days even, we need a new Kevin Feige. Like, Kevin Feige had his day. We need new Kevin Feige. He needs to retire, and there needs to be a new guy on top to bring Marvel back to So I almost to the point to where I don't believe that he was the one that greenlit Deadpool and Wolverine. It seems like too good of an idea for him.
I don't know about that. I bet he's freaking getting like, I bet he's on a leash with freaking Disney, like on what is and what is not acceptable. Like
Maybe
now,
I don't know. Like go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think like what he's done is I don't think they gave a rat's ass about the MCU like until it started growing into something, and then they're like, okay, cool, now we're like backing you, and now now that they've accomplished Endgame, they've got a freaking leash on him, like don't ruin it, and it's freaking Disney pulling that leash that's ruining it.
Now, my counterpoint to that is maybe he got to Endgame and was like, I did it. Now I rest on all of my laurels. I don't really have a clear direction on where to go now. Like I had this big 10-year plan, and now that my 10-year plan is over, it's kind of being revealed that I didn't have a really clear plan on what to do after this. I'm just going to kind of make decisions that seem similar to the first two phases, and so I can tell people like, nah, it's world building. It's there was mysterious stuff that happened in the first ones, if you remember correctly. Like, yeah, maybe. And I'm not taking anything away from him. I think everything he did was amazing. I just think Marvel movies have turned into like they have good moments, but it's not good overall. Like they have cool scenes that you're like, that's a cool thing that happened, and I'm glad I saw it. But overall, I could have just seen it on TikTok and gotten the same amount of enjoyment and wouldn't have had to watch this whole movie.
Dude, you know what I think the problem is, are a big part of it. The movies that are good were made by someone that was a fan of the source material in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
Like with Winter Soldier, arguably one of the better MCU movies out there, made by the Russo brothers, who were fans of Captain America.
And that, I mean, you could see there was a time when Beth and I were doing we were trying to watch everything like I can't remember if we were doing chronological or release order, but like you can tell that like all of those movies, they're like, yeah, we're going to do something, I guess. Maybe we'll try and be serious, maybe not. Like, we don't really know what kind of tone we want to set. And then Winter Soldier came through and was like, hello, we're a film and we are an espionage film. And this is very serious, in case you were wondering. We take this all very seriously. This is a serious matter. Hydra is here. Everybody's going crazy. I feel like that was like a big shift for like Marvel or the MCU as a whole, like trying and succeeding to find a tone for itself. So I don't know what that's going to be going forward.
I don't know how true it is, but I've heard that they actively try or avoid hiring people that are like fans of the comics. Because have you seen those clips where it's like they've gone from like a bunch of different freaking MCU movies, and a lot of the writers were like, oh yeah, well, I wasn't really familiar with this character before coming into this movie. And I'm like, what the hell are you talking about?
Which it's funny because like I think that if you have like, say you have 5 writers writing a movie like that, if you have one that is like not so familiar, like because they were talking about this for The Acolyte, the new Star Wars show that's coming out soon,
Which
is
looks
like it does. But that one of the things they did on that was like at least one of the writers was not very familiar with Star Wars at all. And the reason they said they brought this person in was to kind of like have the people that could geek out on it, but have someone that was also like focused on the story still to like drive that forward and wasn't so like married to that. But I think it's got to be a big room, and I feel like a big room of writers, and they can't be. I feel like the geeks have to outnumber the people that don't really have as much of a stake in like the source material. Like I don't think that's a bad thing to have someone that doesn't know, but they can't be like in charge. Like you can't put that person, they can't be the head writer. But
no,
yeah.
I think that's a good idea to have someone to ground the content, just to be like, okay, you guys have gone so far into the freaking lore, bring it back and like reel it in a bit. Like I think that's a good idea to get like to reel it in for general audiences. But yeah, like a fan has to be the one to write it. Otherwise, you get bullshit like Thor Ragnarok and Love and Thunder. Because Taika Waititi, he like almost brags about, he's like, oh yeah, like I didn't read a single Thor thing while I was filming that movie. Like I just wanted to do something fun.
Taika Waititi, I feel like the shine is coming off of that dude. Like especially when he talks about Marvel stuff, he annoys me. And the other guy, I swear to God, I hate that I'm saying this out loud, looking at your Spider-Man poster in the background there. But I want to, every time I think about the Scarlet Witch, it makes me want to slap Sam Raimi right in his dumb face for being like, yeah, I just like, they had this thing and I heard it was some kind of witch and I'm into scary stuff. So I'm going to make a scary witch. There's a show about it. Don't need it. Anyway, she's a witch.
I can't argue. I can't argue with you on that one.
It's annoying. Like I get it. Like if you want that aesthetic, that's cool. But like make a guy like Sam Raimi, like, hey, you have to take a month, a week, anything, and like just deep dive the source material and like make these characters true to what we already know. And same thing with the Thor or the Thor movies. Like it's I don't know.
Dude, me and Rose were literally talking about this before you hopped on, talking about like the Sam Raimi verse and how well put together that could have been had Sony just freaking let him loose. Because I'm like,
he liked it.
Yeah, like he had like a solid plan. So like I was telling Rose, I'm like, if you can't write a movie where all, like the sole focus of the villain is Green Goblin, like you're just a bad writer. I'm like, but Sam Raimi freaking killed it. And then freaking he brings in Doc Ock, kills it with him too, because those are the two big bads. And then it's like, okay, apparently the original plan for Spider-Man 3, like what Rose was telling me, was that it was supposed to be just Sandman and the new Goblin. And I'm like, but with a more focus on Sandman. And I'm like, cake, like that's like easy enough to do. But they like forced him to throw in Venom. And then I guess the plan for 4 was, oh shit, who was
Mysterio, right?
For 4?
It was going to be Bruce Campbell, was going to be Mysterio.
I think that was thrown around, but from what I heard, I thought it was supposed to be the Lizard, because the guy that played Dr. Connors in Toby's movies actually did an interview recently and brought that up, that Sam Raimi had talked to him about Spider-Man 4 and he was going to become the Lizard. So it was supposed to be, as far as I know, it was supposed to be the Lizard and Vulture. Those were supposed to be the two villains in Spider-Man 4.
Yeah, and then it's like those two, since they're I would say in the general audience, those are probably a couple of the Spider-Man's lesser knowns. But you can have 2, like where you can have like a half movie for each of them. I'm like, he split it up really well. It's just Sony came and freaking bit him in the ass because they're like, yeah, throw Venom in there. And he's like, I don't know Venom. I don't like Venom. And so like it showed that he did like Venom.
It's funny. It's like it pains me to say these bad things about Sam Raimi, because like I think he also did with the Spider-Man trilogy like one of the impossible feats, which was make a sequel movie that was better than the original. Because Spider-Man 2 is it's just the best out of all of the Spider-Man movies, possibly even to this day. So yeah, no, I saw it. I saw your doc talking about like that fight. that fight between him and Doc Ock, where they're just going around the city fighting, that is on par with anything that has been currently happening in Marvel. No questions about it. Like if someone had never seen that scene and they were like, how did I miss this in the Tom Holland Spider-Man? Like, yeah, exactly. You would never know that was not today. Like, it was well choreographed. It was just a good Sam Raimi. Why Sam Raimi?
No, dude, he freaking had. I will never understand studios where it's like you release something that's really freaking good, and then it's like, all right, now we got to make sure that they don't ruin this. And it's like, nope, the reason they were able to create something so good is because you didn't freaking put this chokehold on them, you freaking assholes.
Exactly.
Yeah, The Matrix 4. That was a Warner Brothers joint, in case you forgot.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Not long
So
ago.
I'm hoping that Warner Brothers has learned from this bullshit and knows, like, if James Gunn is creating good shit, leave him alone.
I just don't. I can't. I won't believe it until I see it. I can't anymore.
Well, that's kind of what they did with freaking Suicide Squad. I think they kind of let him do whatever the hell he wanted. And he's like, cool, I'm going to nitpick some of these parts from the first one that I liked and get rid of the shit I didn't. And we'll go from there. And then they just kind of let him do whatever. And the movie was awesome.
Yeah.
I feel like people poo-poo that movie. Like, that was a great movie. We got Peacemaker out of it. Like, what do you want? What more do you want?
Yeah,
exactly.
I don't know if you guys, this is not related to this, but I just wonder, have you guys been playing, or do you know of the Suicide Squad game, or Kill the Suicide Squad, whatever it's called? Or Suicide Squad?
I have not played it, but it looks fun.
Yeah, I haven't played it either, but I'm gonna agree with what Caleb said.
I think it looks fun too. Honestly, though, I like on TikTok, it only shows me the cutscenes, and apparently, like, the Joker has just been introduced to the fray. And I gotta tell you, that Joker, everyone, after this podcast is over, go to your TikToks and type in Suicide Squad Joker. And after you get past Jared Leto and you get to the video game one, that is the thing that Jared Leto was trying to do. I promise you, because it's so much better. And it kind of, when you look at it, you will think to yourself, this is going to be Jared Leto Joker. No, it's like turned up or down. I don't know which way he had to go, but it's turned that many notches up or down to make that exactly right. So I don't know. I guess it's kind of movie adjacent because somebody had to act that out. There can be other good Jokers, guys. I'm just saying, it doesn't just have to be that weird guy from that Dick movie that we just saw.
You gotta say, I'm not the biggest fan of his look.
Well, it's because I'm telling you, it's because he's kind of like Jared Leto-esque. But when you hear him talking and you see him interacting with them, it is good. Like, it is actually good.
Okay. I'll give him a chance.
And I forgot the Saltburn. Sorry, in case people were wondering what I meant by the Dick movie. Saltburn. Saltburn Joker.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Barry Keoghan. I'm interested what they're gonna do with him in the Batman too. That's gonna
hopefully nothing. Hopefully they put that guy in jail where he belongs.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Anyway, so how about we get into this week's breakdown?
Let's do it.
Hell yeah. All righty. And just in case you didn't know, this week's breakdown, we will be discussing Sony's latest, I don't even know if I can call it a Spider-Verse film.
Their latest train wreck. That's what
their latest train wreck. Madam Web. And I gotta be real. I finished this at 7:00
Today.
today.
Damn, I
Like,
finished this like 3 weeks ago. Wait, no, I saw this. I think the week after it came out. So I saw this movie over like a month and a half ago.
It ages like a fine wine, they say.
Yeah, it gets worse and worse.
How dare
Beautiful.
you?
I was gonna watch it earlier, but my wife, she voluntold me to go to.
I like that.
I'm kidding. She told me like, oh, we're going over to this lady's house to help her out, like with she needed some computer help and whatnot.
Did you remind her
needed
she
some
just had a
packing.
baby? She needs the help. Let her be helped.
My wife.
Yes.
Yeah. But yeah, so we were going over to this lady's house to help her out. Like her and my wife have become really good friends. And so I was like, all right, cool. Like, we'll go over and help. She had some issues with her floor that she wanted me to look at too. So I was like, all right, cool. But I got to watch this movie today. And she's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, okay, as long as you know, like we're good. And she's like, yeah, we'll only be there like a few hours. And I was like, all right, cool. Anyway, we left at like 7:40. Ended up like, and we got to her house after stopping for breakfast and whatnot at like 8:40, and then around 3:30 we left her house. And then then my wife's like, oh, well, while we're on the way home, can we stop at Walmart? And I'm like, shit. So I got home at 5, or we got home at 5, and she's like, can you help unload? And I'm like, God damn it. So I grabbed all the shit with like one trip, ran it inside, and then freaking Amazon screwed me and delivered a microwave. And so my wife's like, can you go get that? And I'm like, yeah. Ran inside, like got that, ran out to my new space and turn on.
And just imagine the whole time you're doing this, Britney Spears "Toxic" is playing over. You just yeah, back and forth running.
Yeah, but I was a bit frantic when I started it. I'm just like, we were supposed to start at 7. I'm not going to finish the movie till then.
Well, listen, don't worry. This movie was here to chill you out and relax you. No action in this movie, just hanging out and looking at stuff in the Amazon.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, but so yeah, this movie is very fresh on my mind. Easily one of the most fresh movies that I've had. Like,
here, guys.
I have times to stew on these, but not this one.
I hate to break this to you, whether you had a week or an hour, like you're gonna have the same feeling about this movie. I promise.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
So anyway, if you guys are new to our breakdown system, we have split movies into 8 different categories that we individually score to come to a final All Bros and Untrained Eye letter grade. The 8 categories that we score are story, writing, acting, character development, effects, music, costumes, and then we give our own personal score at the very end. All of those numbers get magically added up and spit through our algorithm and give us a letter grade to compare this movie to compare this movie. I am on one today. To compare this movie to others of a similar grade. Also gives us a percentage that, despite what anyone may say, is mostly just for fun.
No, it is not for fun. No, it is not for fun. Don't listen. Don't have it then. Don't have it then. Just say it's a movie or it's not a movie, and that's it. You don't need anything else. Otherwise,
Madam Web is not a movie. All right, see you guys next week.
Yeah. So if you guys have not seen Madam Web, congratulations.
Buckle up.
Consider yourselves lucky because this movie is so bad.
So yeah. So if you, like I said, if we're about to spoil the whole freaking thing in our favorite segment that we like to call Reading with Rose.
I dare you to be able to spoil this movie. That implies that you would be able to give one cohesive statement on what this movie was about. So I
Yeah.
double dare you to ruin this movie.
All right.
All right. So yeah, we will be posting that spoiler warning now. So without further ado, Rose, take it away.
All right. In 1973, in the jungles of Peru, a research team led by Ezekiel Sims and his pregnant colleague Constance Webb discovers an unidentified species of spider with rare healing properties. Ezekiel betrays the team and claims the spider for himself before leaving Constance for dead. An indigenous tribe attempts to save Constance, but she dies shortly after giving birth to Cassandra. 30 years later, Cassandra, going by Cassie, works as a paramedic in New York City alongside her co-workers Ben Parker and Q Neal. During a dangerous call, Cassie falls into the water and has a near-death experience. Ben revives her, but she begins to experience visions. She begins to experience visions. Initially, she dismisses them as deja vu, but after failing to prevent O'Neill's death, Cassie realizes that she can see into the future. Ezekiel, who has limited precognition power and enhanced physical abilities, collects information on 3 teenage girls, Julia Cornwall, Anya Corazon, and Maddie Franklin. His visions lead him to believe that they are destined to kill him. Cassie is also drawn to the same women and intervenes to stop Ezekiel from ambushing them at Grand Central Terminal. She steals a taxi and takes Julia, Anya, and Maddie out of the city to hide them in a nearby forest. Cassie returns to her apartment and finds Constance's note, which reveals Ezekiel's identity and the true nature of his powers. Ignoring Cassie's instructions, the girls go to a diner where Ezekiel finds them. After briefly incapacitating Ezekiel by ramming him with the car, Cassie takes the girls back to Queens and they take refuge in Ben's house. Cassie flies to Peru and tracks down the tribal chief who saved her mother. The chief puts Cassie through a ritual that separates her soul from her body. She experiences a plane of higher consciousness where all living things are connected and where every possible future can be seen. She learns that Constance sought the spider to save her from a fatal hereditary disease. Ben's pregnant sister-in-law, Mary, goes into labor earlier than expected, and he takes her to the hospital, along with the girls who are seen on camera when in the car. Ezekiel intercepts them again, but Cassie rescues the girls in an ambulance and distracts Ezekiel so Ben and Mary can escape. The group lures Ezekiel to a condemned firework factory and sets up traps to disorient him while Cassie calls for a medical evacuation helicopter to fly to their location. Ezekiel destroys the helicopter and separates the girls, then taunts Cassie with Constance's death. Cassie uses her powers to guide the girls to safety. She sets off the final trap, which fatally crushes Ezekiel. An ignited firework strikes Cassie in the face, blinding her. Cassie is taken to the hospital just as Mary gives birth to her son. Cassie wakes up to discover that she is now blind and paraplegic due to her injuries. However, her clairvoyance enables her to see fully into the future. Cassie assures the girls that she will mentor them in their future roles when the time comes.
Don't worry, though. It was not now. The time is not now. It's later. And don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
How dare you?
Oh, man.
It's so
Dude,
bad.
This was rough. I try to have like a good attitude going into this. Like, maybe it's not as bad. Maybe people are being super harsh. And I think the stuff that, like, because I have another show that I listen to that discusses Marvel movies. I haven't listened to their review yet. I try not to listen to, if I know that we're going to do a review on the same movie, I won't listen to theirs. I don't want to be like influenced, but they did talk about, like, when the trailers were released, what they thought the movie was going to be. And I think I almost would have preferred what that was. So in their version, or what they thought was going to be the case, because it was like right after Adam Scott kind of got revealed that he was going to be playing Uncle Ben.
Mhm.
So what they assumed was that Ezekiel Sims, the character that he was in the comics, was like a time traveler, and he was coming back in time to basically hunt down baby Peter Parker.
Well, that's what
And
I read after the fact. That's what the comic was. Like, that's what happened in the comics, that he was a
yeah,
time traveling weirdo.
yeah. So that's like they were explaining all of that. So that's what they thought, that it wasn't, he wasn't hunting down these girls to like protect his own ass. He was hunting them down because he knows that they protect Peter, or that they were going to obtain their abilities to help protect Peter. And so I'm like, I would have preferred that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I will say this. Excuse me. I did not know that I was going to be a part of this show, so I did imbibe some reviews on this, and everyone was saying how terrible this movie was going to be. It's the worst movie that's ever happened. Now, in fairness, I've never seen Morbius, but I didn't totally hate this movie. Like, this movie was not good, but it was not as bad as I was led to believe. And I only say that because if you watch this movie, I am a 40-year-old person who exists in this world. So I lived at a time before 9/11. I know for some of you that's hard to believe, but this movie seemed like a movie that was made in 1999, about 2003, with no idea that there was a 9/11 coming, because they're like, they didn't make her like a hero, even though she was a paramedic. Like, it seemed very like, it just seemed like such a movie that you would have seen in 99 and be like, I mean, it wasn't good, but like for the time, it was really, it was good. It was, if they made it today, it would probably be a lot better. They'd be wrong, clearly. But it was so weird. It was so weird to watch this movie and be like, what year is this from? Because it's not from this year.
I think there were a lot of elements in this that had the potential to be good. It was just overall execution was bad.
So bad.
Yeah, like I think a lot of the pacing issues, like I don't think that they showed off her ability to see the future very well, or to see, like, basically live alternate timelines. Like, I don't think they showed that off well at all, especially in the final sequence. Like, it just kind of felt like she was just, I couldn't, like, ultra instinct blocking shit. And I'm like, like, you're not showing off that's what she knows to do.
Beth and I, after this movie was over, looked at each other and said, so can she time travel or see the future or both or hop dimensions, or what does she do? Did she actually save those girls at the end? Was that something that could have happened? Was she 4 people at once? What exactly is it? Because there was a moment there where I was like, she is time traveling. And then I was like, no, she sees the future. No, she sees other dimensions. No, she can sleep, walk, dream something, because she, like, at some point slept or dreamed a version of talking to Ezekiel where it never happened. That never happened, but she had a conversation with him. So it was very unclear as to what her powers were or what they meant to this world.
Yeah. If you're familiar with the character in the comics at all, it clears some things up, but I don't think they accurately portrayed what her ability is. What her ability to, like, be multiple places at once isn't in like a physical sense. It's supposed to be in like a kind of mystical way. She can project her consciousness over like the multiverse. Like, because that's what Madam Web does. She's like the one that's in charge of the web of life and is able to pull spider people into that. Like, so she's the one that like kind of created the Spider-Verse.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm definitely wrong about this, probably, but everything I saw about this movie after the fact was that like there was never really like an origin story for her.
There wasn't.
She was never like a like prominent, really, like wasn't featured very often or very prominently like in any of the comics. Did she have her own comic at any point in time? Like a book named Madam Web?
I think she might have one within the past couple years. Maybe. I'm not 100% certain on that. I'm pretty sure her first like actual appearance was in the 90s Spider-Man show.
It just, I don't know, man. Like it was not a good origin. It was not a good origin movie. Like I mean, I know everyone complains about origin movies, and really the remedy is like you don't want to see the same origin you've seen 1,000 times. You don't want to see Peter Parker get bit 1,000 times. But one of the other things you could do besides just not showing an origin is have a new origin of a character you've never seen before. And they could have done anything. And they did this movie. They just made an asshole into like because she was an asshole. Just so we're all clear on what this lady was, like she was clearly a hateable person that everyone liked inexplicably because she was the worst.
Not everyone. Freaking Parker's mom wasn't having it.
Yeah, that's true.
Wait, Parker's mom. Wait,
or Peter's mom.
She just seemed weird. Like Emma Roberts seemed like there was someone with a gun right off camera that was like, keep acting.
Dude, seriously, oh my god.
Don't stop acting or we will do it. Like that's what everything she did seemed like. This was a favor, just so we're all clear. Emma Roberts appeared in this movie as a favor to someone. I have no actual proof of that, but there is absolutely no reason why she should be in this movie at all.
Fair. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. It was either a favor or she really needed some bills to be paid.
Something.
So like, I will do whatever. But it wasn't like, good. It just execution was horrible. But I think the potential for a solid story was there.
It was. By the way, I think two things could have happened. Either one, you shorten the time between introducing those three girls and then all four of them getting together, and then have a second half where they are in their suits and they are, kicking Ezekiel's ass or whatever. Or take those girls out of the equation completely and make this a horror movie between Cassie and Ezekiel. Because like when they were going through the subway and he was like taking out all the cops and you couldn't really see him and he's coming from here and he's coming from there and he's going from under, it reminded me very much of like an Alien movie, like the first Alien movie. So I was like, all right, like you couldn't really see the xenomorph. That's kind of what made him scary. Like this could have been a good horror movie if they had just tweaked it a little bit.
Dude, I was thinking the exact same thing during that sequence. I'm like, this, like the bad guy's suit, like I've been hearing a lot of people giving them shit for that. I think the design, especially in a horror situation, would have been perfect.
Yes. They should have been complaining about the spider people in the Amazon suits. Those
Dude, what in the actual hell was that?
Those suits were terrible.
Dude, the dude's voice took me so off guard. He started talking and it was perfect English. I was like, what the shit?
You live in the middle of the Amazon. You got bit by a spider and now you're a Spider-Man. Sorry, you're a spider person, because we don't say Spider-Man in this movie because that guy doesn't exist yet.
Yeah,
because as we all know, with great power, sometimes you got to have some responsibility with it. You got to use it in the correct way. So much so, we got to say this twice.
Gosh, dude, when you were reading your description, Rose, when you were talking about the chief of those spider people, I was like, what? I didn't catch that he was the chief at all. And then the fact that he shows up again in normal human clothes, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
That
The
was
flooded.
the most inexplicable thing where he was just like, yeah, dude, I totally like built a hut up here and now I just do yoga all the time and have this online business. You've heard of online. It's 2003. We barely have it, but it's here. I got an online business selling Amazon mud. It helps people exfoliate.
Yeah. Yeah, the story with the girls was just I think that
Whack,
you could have
weak,
I
terrible.
think you could have scrapped that altogether. I don't think it necessarily needed that. I think it needed like because it shows like thinks that his death like is going to be by those girls. I think as soon as Madam Web kind of got introduced, his visions should have shifted to being
Yes.
like dying by Madam Web, and then it should have been like purely hunting her down.
Well, by the way, they made him the dumbest smart guy in the history of dumb smart guys because he's like, it starts with whenever he's seducing that NSA lady at the opera, and he's just like starts talking about what we all kind of figure is like very specific, like, and I know that you have access to this facial recognition technology. It's very new, it being 2003 and all, but there was a 9/11 recently, so I know you have facial recognition. Like,
Dude, I think what irritated me most about that sequence is that he just sits down and then he's like, eh, and then she goes home with him.
yeah, dude, it was all
Like,
crazy.
are you shitting me?
When he starts, listen, I have never been seduced at an opera, so I don't know how things go when you are seduced. But I got to tell you, if after seduction had happened and love making occurred, if the girl started talking about like, yeah, I've been having these dreams where these 3 dudes kill me, and now I look for these dudes and I'm gonna kill them before they kill me. I'm gonna be like, all I'm gonna be hearing in my head is like a high pitched wee, and I'm gonna be thinking of my escape. Of how the hell I'm going to get out of here with I don't even need my clothes at this point. I just need to get out with my life because I've clearly made a bad decision and I'm with a crazy person. But someone from the NSA was like, nah, this is still pretty normal. I'm gonna be pretty. This happens all the time. You see someone in your dream, you try and kill that dream guy. You know,
Dude, he was ridiculous. Like, and this is more of a writing issue than anything. The way that his just rando assistant was just kind of there, like she was as useless as you could possibly get.
no,
And they kind of treated the whole like, how is he finding us, like some sort of like premonition thing. And I'm like, no, he's tracking you, obviously, somehow. You just don't know how yet.
They didn't have cell phones. This is 2003. This is what we're all missing from this is like, this was very like, I got this movie on a level that I think they wanted me to get it on because it's like, this is supposed to be, you don't have cell phones. That's why we're going to leave girls out in the forest for 3 hours. What? And they're like, you know what? I'm going to walk for 2 minutes and find a diner that's basically right over there. Because a normal person, they would definitely have a, what's the word? I just said it, cell phone, to be like, hey, I'm going to call someone and let someone know where I'm at, something like that. That lady, though, she was the perfect she was as 2003 movie, or sorry, 99 movie in a 2003 world as it gets, because everything he said was like, all right, bring this up on whatever. And she was like, got it, boss. And just and she theoretically has access to cameras in the entirety of New York City and is able to be like, oh, we got a hit over in the Bronx area. Like, did you? Like, what are you like? That seems like what 1999 would think technology could do in 2003. Like, it's just like, yeah, man, we got a hit, and some lady could do it. Sorry, I'm not saying that derogatory to ladies. I'm just saying some rando could just be like, yeah, I can type like 50 words a minute. I could do this.
I honestly kept forgetting that this movie took place in 2003.
I had to keep
And
telling
then-
myself that when I was watching it.
Dude, and then it was like I would forget, and then they'd hit me with just like, this song's gonna be a bop, and then it was Britney Spears' Toxic, and I was like, what the are you talking
how they
about?
made a-
Oh yeah.
How they made a point to like almost look at the camera and be like, it really is a shame about Martha Stewart. Like that was when Martha Stewart went to jail for a second because she did insider trading. Yeah, exactly. You see how no one cares?
Yeah. Freaking dumb.
What a
Dude, the
such
story.
a-
I'll
Listen,
I'll
a
start this
man
one
died
off.
via firework. Okay, they weren't like stretching their brains to do things in this movie.
Dude, something that pissed me off is that the movie completely it felt like they just kind of forgot that Madam Web was supposed to be blind until the last possible second. And then they're like, oh shit, hit her in the face with a firework. Now she's blind.
I thought you were talking about how they just were like, oh no, we have no way to prove that she's blind. We couldn't put those whiteout contacts in her eyes. We have to get some kid's sunglasses that he got out of, I don't know, like the world's worst cereal box. You had a budget. Like, hey, don't buy her shoes for that scene and buy her sunglasses instead. No one's gonna see the shoes. She's in a freaking wheelchair now.
Dude, I completely forgot that she had the hereditary disease. So when she's in the hospital and they say, "Oh, you can never walk," I'm like, "Where the hell did that come from?" I didn't see her legs. I didn't see her legs get freaking damaged during the thing.
Dude, that's what I
Supposedly-
thought too. I was just like, oh, like what made her not able to walk?
Yeah.
So
Was it the I thought it was the fall. I didn't realize it was the hereditary thing coming back again.
I can't remember if I read it in the trivia on IMDb or somewhere, but like supposedly she did get hit with a firework like in her back as well. She
I
at least
didn't
got
see that.
Okay.
she at least got hit in the face. By the way, it could have been a 2-for-1. Whenever she got hit in the face, it just like gave her whiplash, and she just like slipped some discs in her neck and just boom, paraplegic.
Oh shit.
I'd buy that.
By
Yeah.
the way, did you guys catch, this is I guess more of a writing thing, but did you guys catch when she was in the hospital and they were like, Peter, he's been born, or they never said Peter either, like the boy has been born and everything's great, and then Ben said he could never take on something like that, he could never have a kid, and she's like, we'll wait and see. Like, hey, you're pretty chipper about the fact that you know that these people are gonna die, lady.
Bro, dude. Okay, I'm probably
get
going to give
extra
the
points
story
for
like a
that?
68 because I want to talk about writing like immediately.
Oh man.
68, you say? Okay. Are we telling our scores out loud?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 70 because I actually have a solid feeling about this movie, even though I'm going to say some things about it that people are going to go, you shouldn't grade it that high. But I legitimately believe, to spoil my whole feeling, this is a C- movie if it was in 99. I'm grading this like it was made in 1999. That's the only way I can do it and not just give it Fs all the way across. And I feel like that's boring.
All right, what do you think, Rose?
I'm lower than all of you guys. I'm at 65.
Damn. All right. All right, moving on over to writing. And dude, I wanted to talk about that scene so bad because I laughed out loud at that scene. And I was like, how messed up is that line? Because I almost wrote it down. Like, that's how much I freaking loved it. It was oh, Ben's loving to be an uncle, all the fun, none of the responsibility. And she's
That's-
like, that's what he thinks. And I'm like,
And she said it with like kind of like a giggle to her voice, like he has no idea what's coming up. Like, his people are about to die.
It's like, yeah, your sister and her, or your sister-in-law and your husband or your brother and his wife are about to die, and she's just going to keep that shit to herself. That's so messed up.
Yeah, that's really effed up.
I laughed so hard at that, dude, because I'm like, that is such a messed up piece of dialogue.
It really, really is. I thought my favorite thing, I guess, yeah, this would be writing. My favorite, because they tried in this movie at least 3 or 4 times that I noticed to be funny, and this movie failed miserably at being funny in any way, except for the funniest part of this whole movie. Whatever she's like, she's reading her book, because whenever she just leaves for 3 hours to go and read a book at her house, she's like, they could walk on walls and super strength and all this other stuff. Well, I guess you can't know that you can walk on a wall until you try. And she starts trying to crawl up the wall and just slumps down. Just is on the floor and looks at her cat and is like, we're not going to talk about this. Like, Beth, I was so like over this whole movie by that point that Beth laughed out loud, and I was like, oh wait, that was really funny. They actually did land a joke.
Dude, I think what made that hit is I can't think of a single person that didn't get bit by a spider and at least try to crawl on a wall.
It's true.
Because I know I did, but no, I got bit by a spider and just got a big ass rash on my forehead for a week.
Dude, and especially after the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, where they show like the little hairs on the hand, you're like, maybe I have them and I don't see them.
Dude, I remember distinctly that like the freaking bite on the forehead that I got, and my mom like looking at it and she's like, oh yeah, that's a spider bite. And I was like, oh yeah.
You think it was full of gamma radiation?
And so yeah, and so like when I was alone, I remember like putting my hands on the wall and I'm like, it doesn't feel extra sticky. And then I was trying to like crawl and then like nothing happened. I'm like, you know what? It probably was because I got bit in the head and not the hand.
I mean, listen,
makes sense.
Once a year, I still try and use the Force. So I'm just saying, you never know.
Oh man,
it could happen one day.
Yeah, but
yeah, this movie, like the other thing, like because I thought that too at the very beginning, 1973, we're in Peru. I was like, why does this lady resent her child so much? She's like, she's not going to stop me from looking at these spiders in a camera. I'm like, all right, lady, relax. We just met you literally 30 seconds ago. Can you not be an ass to your kid instantly? And then
they redeemed that mom so well.
Well, but like, I was like, okay, like this is like, it was just like jarring. Like I felt like that needed to come sooner, because like the only thing that made it from Cassie's point of view that made it seem like her mom didn't like her was like she just went to the Amazon and that was just a bad idea. Like that doesn't mean she hates you. You could also take that as your mom's dumb. So like it was just a weird thing when she started like breaking down crying, like, I thought you hated me. Like, you didn't give us that the whole movie. Like, there was not 1 second where you were like, I was talking about how much my mom hated me and my guts she hated the most. Like, none of that. And then she's like, I was dying of a disease. Thanks, Mom. You're great. Let's hug. Was she time traveling? Was she dreaming? Who knows?
I think it was an odd mixture of the two because, again, of how freaking vague her skill or power set was.
Yeah.
I will say this. The fact that she will take this as a writing thing. The fact that she broke her back, went blind, all that stuff from that fall is wild to me because she got punched by a Spider-Man multiple times. She is all I could think when she was getting punched is I'm like, she is still a person. Like we have found out by this point that she got none of the other gifts and just the premonition was just dialed up to 11. That's the only thing she got. So this is a human being punched by an angry Spider-Man. And she's just like, ooh, my tum. And then when she falls into the ground or falls into the water, that's when she's like, oh my God, my eyes and my back. Ah.
Yeah, dude, the dialogue was freaking ridiculous in this movie at times.
The best
Like,
part. Oh, sorry.
No, go.
It was my favorite part. Just I wanted to laugh out loud in the theater, but there were people there, and I didn't want to disturb it for anyone that might have been enjoying this movie. But the part where she's at the hospital at the end, and they're all talking, and the nurse comes in. She asks, "Oh, are you family?" She turns around and says, "There are." She's no, she says, "They're mine." I'm like, shut the hell up.
By the way, the best part was that nurse came in there just to ask that because she immediately just about face and
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
dude,
nothing.
They did so much of random exposition in this movie. Like, are you kidding me? Like when they were explaining the freaking spider people, like, oh, like you know the legend of this, and it's like, oh, the spider people that like run across treetops and do this and this and that and have mystical abilities. Those spider people.
I don't
I'm
believe
like,
in such things. Like,
yeah,
all
I'm
right,
like, you're
lady.
so dumb. And then
Please shut the hell up.
yeah, and then the freaking Ezekiel. Again, that's another thing that was pretty vague. I thought he was just supposed to be security. Was he the one funding the?
Okay, the description that you read, Rose, made it seem like this was an Ezekiel-led thing. My understanding was also that he was just like she was there. She was the one being funded to be there, but not by him. He was just like a local that was like, I can show you where they found the remnants of these spiders, because that seemed to be why he was there. Like, especially how she was talking to him, because she wasn't just being a jerk about her kid, she was being an asshole to that guy too. So it was like when he turned around and shot her, I'm like, I mean, I think you got off lucky, lady. Like, you are in the middle of the Amazon being a jerk to people that could have stabbed you with a machete.
Yeah, not wrong.
Dude, I didn't understand the relationship. I thought I did. I thought he was just some like security guy that she hired to like be part of the crew. And when it turned out that that wasn't the case, I was kind of taken aback. I was like, I don't understand what this relationship is now.
Did the spider also stop him from aging? Are we to believe that he aged or not?
No, he aged. Pretty sure he aged.
Because it was supposed to be 30 years from when we first met him. And the only thing that I saw different was that his hair was longer. Otherwise, he looked like, to me, exactly.
He was having that future premonition and his hair was gray.
But then if you notice, the more the movie goes on, the grayer his hair got. So it was very strange because his hair, when he started out, it was not that gray. And like by the end, it wasn't gray like it was in the vision, but it was much grayer. By the way, I will say this, after looking up Ezekiel Sims or whatever his name was, like the comic version of him, it's crazy because this guy looks like a deflated version of what the comic looked like. And I don't mean that like disparagingly against that guy. Like, I just mean like it's like how I heard it was an April Fool's thing, but I heard that what was it? Chris Nolan was going to come back with Christian Bale to do The Dark Knight Returns. Like that comic, that graphic novel. And I'm like, no, Christian Bale is a good Batman, but like the Ben Affleck Batman should be the one for that. And I feel like Ezekiel, like he was the Christian Bale version of like what the actual like hulking Ezekiel was supposed to look like, because he was just like more of like a chiseled, like just beefy dude. And that was not the only thing that was the same about them, is that my wife noticed, she's like, is he not wearing any shoes? I was like, he was not. That's a quirk of his.
That's a quirk.
Yeah,
I had a hard time getting behind his character at all.
It wasn't even hateable. It was like, why? I don't understand why you're this way, man.
Yeah.
You had no motivation to do this other than you like, what were
Yeah,
you
they
doing?
didn't set up any motivation
No.
other than he was some like down in the dumps dude that got screwed, I guess. I couldn't tell you.
And then
But
what was
it's
he doing that whole
bad.
time before he started having visions? Did he have the visions straight away? Like, was that like there was nothing? Like it,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, no shit. It was like 30 years of having some vision of these randos, and it's just like now they have the technology.
We finally caught up. Also, was that meant to be the same spider as well? 30 years later?
I think so.
Yeah, from what I remember, yeah, it looked like it.
Don't think spiders live that long. Like, I'm not a spiderologist, but I don't think they live 30 years like that.
But
Yeah.
DJ, it's radioactive, so it
But
lives
it's-
forever.
It's not radioactive, it's mystical.
Okay,
It's-
that's sorry, mystical.
Once what's his
Peter
face? Green
Parker's
Goblin.
spider was radioactive because they did experiments on that spider. This one's just a mystical spider.
So that
This
means
is
it
the-
lives forever, right?
I guess
Yes.
that's what it means. But
Well, that's why I
he removed it from its homeland, so that's why he was cursed with the visions.
Well, that's why I thought Ezekiel hadn't aged, because I'm like, well, the spider, if this is clearly the same spider, then what? Maybe that's part of the deal, is you age slower. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, one thing we should mention too, there were 3 other actors in this movie. They were the girls.
Yeah.
They were there. They danced on a table once. By the way, the best part about that stupid scene when they were in the diner was they were like, let's dance on the table. And they get on the table because those guys look like they're into them. And then they get on the table. And if you look at the guys' faces, they're like, cool, but can you not? This is where we
Trying to eat here?
Yeah. And then like I don't know if you guys had subtitles, but she get like I forget her name.
Doesn't
Maddie kept like slapping one dude away and like, don't touch. And I'm like, dude, what? Like this dude looks mortified that you're on the table in a public place.
Just
And then, okay, that scene, especially when you don't realize that she is just seeing a vision when she's walking through the forest for 1 minute. And then she's at the diner. She sees him. Oh my God, the Ezekiel's here. I've been poisoned. Whoops. I was still at the taxi cab the whole time. This is part of why I wish I hadn't watched any review or heard any reviews on this movie, because the whole fight scene that's happening where she ends up dying via hand poison, Toxic is playing, right? Well, then when she's like, oops, that was just a vision, Toxic is playing. And it's like, all right, so is that happening? Are they dying right now? And she's like, I don't know, but I'm going to take a 10-minute longer route to get there so that I can drive into this guy, hopefully. Because at the speed she came in there, I hate to break this to everyone who watched this movie, there's no way she could have known that she was going to hit him and nobody else.
Yeah, well, I thought she got stabbed the first time and then poisoned this, like when she came in like a wrecking ball.
So in the vision, he grabbed her by the neck, and that's when he poisoned her and she died. In reality, whenever she was like, get in, girls, let's go.
Wait, he grabbed
Cassie.
No, not Cassie. He grabbed, what's her name? not Jessica.
Oh, Skater Girl.
No, what's the other one's name?
Shit.
Boy, we have access to IMDb, guys. I'm gonna go there right now.
Anya?
No, not Anya.
Was-
Sydney Sweeney's character.
Oh, Julia. I'm sorry.
Julia. Yeah, so the first go round, she Cassie comes in and is just like, let's get down, like let's go, and then they're about to leave, and then she Julia's like apologizing, like I'm so sorry, and then she goes grabs her jacket, and then he comes in, grabs her by the neck, like basically like slams her on the chair. They have a little bit, like Cassie and Ezekiel have a bit of a fight, and then he stabs her, and then she like wakes up back in the forest, hears the song, and then runs back. She hits him with the car. She gets out, tells the girls to get in. They get in, and then before she shuts the door, he like grabs her hand.
That's whatever.
I told you this movie's fresh. You're not getting shit like that past me.
No, I mean, listen, you could give it a week and you'll forget. By the way, I only watched.
I'm trying to. Sorry, you go. Sorry, DJ.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I'm like trying to just remember like the important parts, and like Caleb's able to like freaking just remember this piece by piece.
I know, because I just watched this movie.
I think that's funny.
Well, I remembered all the parts; they were just wrong.
Wrong order,
wrong people. Because I remember that. So I remembered specifically him like grabbing her hand at the as they were about to back out. I'm like, for real. By the way, never no more about the poison ever again. She was just like, I got poisoned. It was pretty crazy, right? Anyway, we're getting out of here.
Yeah. But I mean, writing wise, I do think that there was some good writing moments. Like, I mean, we brought up a couple. I actually really liked the one where they're all at Mary Parker's house, and she comes into the room and she's just like, well, I either peed on myself or my water just broke. And Ben's like, well, it looks like you peed yourself because your husband is not here right now. and your baby isn't due for another couple weeks. And then he like panics. He's like, the ambulance isn't going to get here. And I'm like, aren't you a paramedic?
Yeah. And so, by the way, I do think it was funny too that when they left and Cassie came back, then was like, oh, the ambulance is here. I know how to drive one of those. There's finally a reason for me to be an EMT, and just gets in and steals an ambulance. Hey, lady, this is you're risking countless other lives for these three. I'm just saying, you stole an ambulance to do that. You didn't steal a car. You stole a health machine.
Yeah. all to just get her hands on an AED.
Yep.
I'm like, you couldn't just be a paramedic that carries one in her vehicle?
Nope.
No, because that's too plot convenient.
As opposed to calling an ambulance when you know you don't need one.
My main issue, like the humor, I felt hit all right. It was the story beats that freaking jacked this up. Like I'll actually give the writing a bit higher because I felt like the writing was good. It was very exposition heavy, and it forced that exposition on you, and I didn't care for that. So writing, I'm not much higher. I'd probably say I'm like maybe 71.
Yeah, I think I can match you at a 71 because I mean, again, I enjoyed this. Listen, I can see it already. Thank you for being the voice of reason, Rose. You are the non-committed fan in the room.
Oh, shit. I was expecting us all to be in the 60s or even 50s with this movie, and y'all are making me feel bad.
You know what it is? It's that the day before, or maybe it was the weekend before, we talked about this before we started recording. I watched Dune Part 1, and kind of everything looks like it's in color now in a way I've never seen before. So,
oh shit!
I just did not. Because I promise you, I expected to go into this movie and it be as bad as everyone was saying it was, and just to hate it. And I got to tell you, it was better than the Marvels. I believe that in my heart. Sorry.
Ugh,
Dude,
can't give me that.
Yeah,
Listen,
I could never give you that. I'm sorry, DJ.
Listen, the Marvels was exactly what MCU movies are doing right now. A lot of good ideas, no follow through at all, almost no reason to exist by the end. Like the Marvels had a great bunch of ideas that they just refused to follow through on any of the cool stuff they started doing. So I cannot, at least this movie was like, I'm dumb, the end. Like that's what I'm going to do. There's no, if you're looking for depth, you are in the wrong movie, my friends, because we are about to get as shallow as it gets.
I think what the Marvels has over this movie, I feel that the main three actually have chemistry in a movie where, like, yeah, okay, the three girls somewhat have chemistry, and then there's Dakota Johnson. She's just freaking like left out in the cold. And I think like during interviews, Dakota Johnson even led into that the three girls, oh yeah, they had such a fun time, being on set together, hanging out, and then there was just me. Like I don't think she interacted with them at all unless they were on screen, unless they actually had to act a scene together.
Listen, the girl Kamala Khan, was that her name in the Marvels?
Yep.
Yeah, she was great. Captain Marvel was Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel and Rambo, I almost feel like they should have had their own movie before they introduced Kamala into it, because I think the thing that turned me off to the whole thing was when Rambo was like, you left me when I need you to the most. And she was like, I didn't realize. I'm really sorry about it. That's okay. My mom's dead though. Oh man, I knew that. I knew that. That's really rough. I liked her too, It had me too. She was my mom. Anyway, can we get past this? We totally can. Hug. It's time to go to Disney Princess Land where we're all singing now. Like, what the hell is this? Why? No, that's not enough. Like, I'll give it to you, Marvels, that you want to just like explain away WandaVision with like a witch put a hex on me one time. That's how I got them powers. Fine. But you can't be like, hey, this was one of the most important people in my entire life, and we're going to have less than 2 minutes of dialogue. Be like, this is our catch up and just make good, and we're just moving on with our lives and never talking about it again. I can't get behind that.
So where are you sitting with this, Rose? If you're so low,
61.
since you're being the voice of reason on this.
So yeah, I thought the writing was worse than the story. So I'm gonna be at I'm at a 63.
Damn. Okay. This is gonna be a freaking great episode.
I don't want to know what this comes in above. I don't want to know.
Yeah, definitely start with below on this.
Yeah. All right. This is our next up. We got acting, which I think is we're very excited for. So with this cast, we got Dakota Johnson playing Cassandra Webb. We have Sydney Sweeney playing Julia Cornwall. Celeste O'Connor playing Maddie Franklin. Isabella Marced playing Anya Corazon. And then Tahar Rahim, who played Ezekiel Sims.
I think you should add what's his face in there for Ben Parker, considering I'm going to vote for him in my top 3.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, Adam Driver. There we go. Not Adam Driver. Adam.
Dude,
if we should have added anyone, it should have been the person that did the dub for freaking Ezekiel Sims.
Yeah.
Holy ball sack!
It's
dude.
so noticeable. It's so bad.
It was bananas crazy, because there was one point where he was first interacting with his secretary or whatever that lady is, where I was like, huh, was this guy on a different planet when he was doing these words? Like, what are you? They basically got me to do it. They were like, listen, the guy can't come in, can you sound like him? And I was like, no. And they were like, can you read? Yes. All right, Good luck, man.
So you want to know what I heard the issue was?
He quit after this.
No,
making
I've
movies?
heard that so he's French and his accent was so thick that you couldn't understand what he was saying.
But freaking subtitles then.
I know. I'm like, just make him a French bad guy.
That's cheaper than re-recording the audio. Well, you just have to do that in post-production.
I know.
That's it.
Dude, like just freaking make him speak his native language for heaven's sake. That's all you had to do.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but then why it wouldn't make any sense that he was her guide in the Amazon and funded this Amazon spider trip.
Well, this is why I thought he was just like a freaking security guy. Like I didn't think he was funding the expedition. I thought he was just the muscle. Because he said he's like, I wouldn't have agreed. Like if I'm remembering this line correctly, he says, I wouldn't have agreed to this security job if I didn't think you were close to finding the spider. And I'm like, why the hell would
correct?
Yeah, I'm like, that sounds weird. Like you agreed to do a security job because you thought she was close to obtaining a spider?
Again, this is another feather in my cap for this movie was made in 1999. Like
you're starting to really sell me on that.
Like this is a time travel movie after all, and they all time traveled to 99 and they made this movie.
Yeah. The no one was on their A game here.
No, not at all.
The guy who played Ezekiel wasn't the least bit in. I'd like to know if he was in the suit at all, other than like the discussion stuff,
ripping the head off or the
I mean, because whoever was doing the stunt work for that, like walking around in the suit, did a killer job.
I mean, yes, but also like I felt like, you know how everyone wants everything practical. Like there were times near the beginning when he was moving around. I guess this is effects, but like whatever, we can save it for that. I disagree. I don't think this, like, he looked too heavy. I feel like almost like he seemed, the guy who was playing him or whatever, doing the stunt work for him, seemed like too short and almost too stocky.
Yeah, because that's what, like, specifically why they go for people that are like leaner and like Tom Holland's build, where he's like more gymnast. Like, no one buys a big, bulky Spider-Man.
Well, and that's it. Like, I think that even though he wasn't like a hulking presence like he looks in the comic, like it would have made sense because he looks lanky like a spider. Like it would have been fine if they had a lanky stunt person doing that for him. So I don't know.
Yeah, but dude, that dialogue was just horrid. Like, whoever they got to dub didn't even like try to lip sync.
Seriously.
Well, listen, honestly, we say nobody was like a standout. I think he believed in this movie more than anyone else in this movie. The guy that was playing Ezekiel, not the dub guy, but the guy that was playing it, because he seemed very serious and very angry a lot. And I'm like, that is so cute. You don't even realize what's happening in this movie, sir.
Dude, it was rough. And then Dakota Johnson, like, this is just not the best performance coming from her,
considering,
or any of the girls. And all the girls have been in some good shit.
Yeah,
I've never seen one of them in any movie ever, so I don't know.
Did you see Ghostbusters Afterlife or the new Ghostbusters?
Not the new one.
So you saw Afterlife?
Yes.
So here, let me flip to her. Celeste, she played a Lucky in Afterlife.
Really?
Yep.
All right, fine. I've seen one of them.
And then not Sydney, Isabella Merced. Did you see I doubt you have, the live action Dora movie?
I have not.
Okay. Have you seen like the commercials for it?
Yes. No, sorry.
Okay.
Yes.
So she played Dora. She was also in that movie with Mark Wahlberg, Instant Family.
Oh yeah, I didn't see it, but I know it.
Yeah, so I mean, she's been in a lot of stuff, and then Sydney Sweeney, she's basically been everywhere. I'd be surprised if you didn't recognize her.
I hear a lot about her, and they're like Sydney Sweeney, the newest hottest thing to ever happen, and I'm like, Wait, let me look at her IMDb. Oh, she was on Euphoria. I do know her. The White Lotus, never saw it. The Handmaid's Tale, never saw it. I'm sure there's other good stuff she's been in. But Euphoria is okay if you like watching people that are supposed to be in high school get naked. It's super not weird, I guess.
No, of course not.
No, dude, the things that I have seen her in, she's fantastic. But the stuff that she's been in lately, like that Anyone But You comedy and this movie, like it's not doing her acting ability justice whatsoever. And it's a bit of a bummer.
Oh, she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. There you go. I do recognize her.
Oh, really?
Was she
Oh.
really?
Yes. She played Snake.
I have no idea.
What the hell?
I'm reading her IMDb. That's all I can tell you. I'm sure it was probably one of the people at that compound.
Yeah, probably. That's weird.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, no one was bringing their A game to this. It was over the top and cheesy. Like if the writing was bad, the acting was worse. And I would put this lower than my story, honestly. So where are you guys sitting with acting?
On a personally, I think acting. I'll go just like one of my story at a 66.
Yeah, I was gonna try and stay in the C category, but I think I have to creep into D and give this one a 69 because it's a real thing. And now that I just looked, the next category is character development. Oops, gonna have to go lower into the D category.
Oh boy, dude, I was a little bit harsher on this. I'm giving this a 63. I was disappointed with everyone's performance.
Listen,
in one way or another.
My shining star, and I'm sorry, this will be my number one, is Adam Scott. Like Adam Scott seemed to be the only guy that was like, I'm stoked to be here. I am now in the Spider-Man universe, and I'm Ben Parker, and I'm kind of going to be beloved no matter what I do. The end. See you guys later.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I actually really liked his character too. My top three's, I think it's basic. My number one is going to Dakota Johnson, which isn't saying a lot because she was aight. I think she had the potential to be better. Like a better written character, I think she could have knocked out of the park. Like I've never been the biggest fan of her acting, like in the things that I have seen of her, but I think she could have made this character work had she been given better material. My number two, and it was probably just because she annoyed me the least, is Isabella Merced. And like I said, she annoyed me the least out of the three girls. And then my number two, again, it's just she annoyed me a little bit less. Or my number three would be Sydney Sweeney because she annoyed me less than, or a little bit more than Isabella did.
I gotta agree with your list, man.
Is it?
Yeah, it's the same for me.
Yeah, Celeste O'Connor, nothing against her, but she was easily the most annoying of the three girls.
Like I was telling Caleb earlier, thank God that Frozen Empire came out this year because I'm reminded why I actually like her as an actress, because I love her as Lucky in Ghostbusters, but I hated her here. She was so annoying.
Yeah, I would have Adam Scott number 1. I would have the dude that played Ezekiel Sims at number 2. Just because I don't know, like he looked the part, but he just wasn't the part. And I don't know. I like him. And my number 3 is actually going to be his personal assistant because that lady deserves. It's a damn shame what she had to go through to be in this movie, and I think she really caught the shit end of the stick more than anybody did. And yeah, this might be her only time she gets some shine. So thank you, lady, whose name I'm going to look up right now.
Dude, she was getting freaking ripped on. She's like, or when he was telling her, like, use it or like use this program better. And I'm like, first off, it's a program no one in the world has access to that she just kind of had to learn on the go to use. Second of all, she's doing the tracking. Like, she finds them within minutes. Like,
Yeah,
what more can you want from her, asshole? Like, if they're hiding in a basement, like, you're screwed.
I think this lady's name is Zosia, Zosia, however you would say that. Mamet, Mamet. Maybe also French, guys. I'm just throwing it out there. Might also be very French. Yeah, Amaria. I don't know if that was actually the lady or not, but damn it, lady, you're my number 3.
I feel like I recognize the assistant from somewhere.
She did seem familiar looking, but she might have just been, let's see. She was in The Kids Are All Right. She was in the television program Girls. She was in this little indie film called Madam Web. The Trolls Band Together. She was Crimp in that movie. She was the voice of Princess Ladyfingers in Harley Quinn, the cartoon show. The Flight Attendant. Did you see that show? That was that one with the
yes,
big
that's what I remember her from.
Yes, she was Annie Moradibazi. I can't say her name.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Kaylee Cuoco's character's sister. Yeah, that's what I remembered her from. Like, that was bothering me.
Well, again, then her and Emma Roberts, those must have been and Adam Scott. I feel like those were all the favors in this movie. Well, I guess, I mean, considering how like hot in the streets those 3 girls are right now, like maybe this was favors all around. Because was anyone clamoring for a Dakota Johnson led movie? I got to imagine the answer is a fat no.
After 50 Shades, I highly doubt it.
I find it fun because I know that she said that when she signed on for this, like after there were so many rewrites and all, like just so many changes. And when the first trailer came out, she fired her agent, or she fired her agency.
Good.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
Dude, I would.
I actually like her more now that I've heard that.
Dude, you know what would be a great, like, I am kind of like over, like, I don't listen to celebrity interview podcasts nearly as much as I used to. I would listen to a show where people get, like, where actors get approached and be like in terms of like horrible movies. Like with this, like I would love to listen to an interview with Dakota Johnson talking about like, what movie did you sign up for? Like, explain what that was so we can understand your thinking a bit.
Like that. This is why NDAs are terrible, because I'm sure she's not allowed to talk about that in any capacity. And that's the only thing I feel like everybody wants to know.
Yeah,
I know, dude.
seriously.
I've thought NDAs are like are void once the project comes out. Or are they just like they're just lifelong freaking bullshit.
They can. I think they can be. Like, I'm sure they're different. I'm not. This may come as a shock to you. I'm not a law scholar, but I think that they can just be for a determined amount of time, and I'm sure one of those amounts of time is indefinitely.
That would be so lame.
Yeah.
Gosh, dude, that would make a great show, though. Just like, hey, you know this movie that everyone universally kind of dislikes? Well, we're going to explain why this actor signed up to be in it.
It's just a new, different way to be sad, though. Like, I just heard a TikTok today with what's that comedian's name? The dude, Fluffy. What is his name?
Oh, Gabriel Iglesias.
Yes, he was. I think it was Gabriel Iglesias. He had a chance to be in an animated movie. It was just they hadn't gotten funding for this movie yet, and they were only going to be able to pay him like a couple $100 to do it, with possibly like points on the back end. And his manager or agent or whatever was like, yeah, like in that same time that you could do that, you could go and do like an arena and make 25 grand. So I think you should go and do that. And he was like, that is a great idea. I'm going to go do that. And the voiceover that he was going to do was in Happy Feet. And he was going to be, there's like a Mexican something, and it ended up being whatever Robin Williams voiced in that movie, that was supposed to be him.
No shit.
Whoa.
And he's like, I'm glad that like my child, if it could have gone any way, he's like, I'm glad my childhood hero could have gotten that part, but man, I would have loved to have had that part.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's always sad news, no matter what. Like, I'd want to hear what's her face, that Olsen girl, talk about what Multiverse of Madness was going to be the first time that she got the script, because that was another one. They said the script was rewritten a million times. It's like, I had no idea what was going to happen when I showed up. Like, I got my lines day of.
Yeah. Gosh, dude, like this. NDAs are a bitch. Like, it's just, it's something that, like, listen, it's like, what, like, I understand NDAs in terms of like not spoiling something, like a big twist or whatever for a movie, like what everyone was trying to avoid with like Infinity War. Like, I understand not trying to break that, but it's like, once the movie's made, like, if there was something else in the pipeline, like, that's, I feel like it's like, hey, you freaking like voided your own bullshit. Like, you created something that I signed on to do, and you changed it on everyone, and it's like, hey, that thing that I signed the NDA for no longer exists. So guess what? The NDA doesn't exist.
I'm sure
I would view it.
It's probably who knows? I don't know. It's all dumb. It's all dumb. I quit movies. I'm sorry, guys. It's time to go.
You know, if this was the only movie that someone had seen, I would feel so bad for them.
Could you imagine? This was definitely somebody's first movie they ever saw.
That poor thing.
By the way, here's what's really crazy. This was more people's last movie they ever saw. Can you imagine how many people died on their way after having seen this movie? This was, imagine if this was the last movie you ever saw.
Oh God.
I'm going to go inside and immediately watch a movie. I don't care what movie I turn on. I just don't want that to be my last movie if I don't wake up tomorrow.
Listen, who says it's a go to sleep thing? They might have gotten immediately into a car accident, struck by lightning, had one of those what are they called? Those like Widowmaker, like where you just get switched off. Just like boop. All right.
It's like the one person that actually like thoroughly enjoyed this movie got struck by lightning on the way out. That wasn't half bad.
I mean, technically, that's great. I mean, even though I'm like busted on this movie, I'm like, for its time, it was great. It was the 90s. We didn't know any better.
Oh shit.
All right. Next up, character development.
Ooh wee. Please, guys, I want to know whoever wants to say this first, in your opinion, who had the most character development in the movie Madam Web, put out in the year of our Lord 2024? When did this movie come out?
Yeah, this was 2024.
Please, I must know.
I would say
Getting paralyzed doesn't count as character development. Go.
All right, Rose, you go first.
You know what? I'm gonna say the three girls combined. That's I feel got the most character development.
Show your work.
Shit. They come together, they bond, they get powers. There we go. That's
They
my
do not.
We don't
get
even.
powers.
Yeah, they don't get powers by the end of this.
They get suits by the end.
They do
There we
not
go.
No,
get
they don't.
suits by the end of this.
But that's how the movie ended, with them in their suits.
It did not. That is
That
not
was
how
a
it ended.
future premonition of their suits. They didn't
Well,
have
goddamn
the
it.
suits in their possession.
God damn it. Then I don't have an argument.
No, I would actually argue those three did have the only character development, because they went from being like three randos to being like, actually, you're not a rich stuck-up kid, and you're not an entitled whatever, and I'm poor, and my mom's crazy, and my parents are rich, and they're never here. My dad got deported. Like, all right, like, there you go. And by the end, they're like, let's chest compress together. Just like we practiced on that pillow earlier, but now it means something. So they literally went from strangers to friends to working together. So that's the only character development I saw in this movie.
I
Unless
feel like
going blind and paraplegia, yes, that's a word now, is a thing. If that's character development, then Cassie
I
did
don't think that was the only. That I think that was bullshit, because they threw it in like very last minute.
Yeah.
Wait, she's what? That's what it seemed like.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I feel like I could have very easily given this to Cassie had they built the resentment towards her mother better. If they would have built the or that resentment better at the beginning, where she was just kind of like all hated. Like I think they tried at that baby shower thing which was so dumb, where they're like, when they pull out a blank card and they're like, oh, whose is this? And she's like, oh, that's mine. Like, that is so attention grabby. Like, it was embarrassing. But I was like, I think that would have been a good place to show her resentment a bit more, because she was just like, oh, I like didn't really know my mom. She was off doing spider stuff, and like shown like the anger, and then I wish she would have made it like a bit uncomfortable for everyone, versus everyone making it uncomfortable for her.
It was like she was supposed to be doing a bad Kamala Khan impression, because she was trying to be awkward about like, oh my God, my mom's dead, but like, it's not crazy. Like, she didn't die in childbirth. Like, she was in the Amazon. It was crazy. I don't know. Why would like, like, it was like, hey, there's an endearing young character. Why don't we just write that person into this crazy old lady who's not even old, but we're gonna make her talk like a crazy old lady.
Honestly, I feel like there is a very interesting story somewhere in here where it's how baby Cassie got back to the US.
Hey, that is
I would have rather watched that.
It's like, did they go and drop her off at the, like, what did they do?
That's
Like,
the prequel that that's the prequel that I actually want.
He put
yeah,
on
it's
his
like everyone else
ring.
on that expedition is dead. The security guy is MIA. Like, did the freaking chief Spiderton go and like drop her off at an airport, like in full spider getup, or like what? What happened there? Or he probably like went home, like went back in his like khaki shorts and button up like Hawaiian shirt and just like, here, I have this baby. Like, what a
Yeah, who
freaking
did he give
weirdo.
it to, by the way? Who raised this baby even? Like the baby getting back, we can fine. They put the baby on a plane. New movie idea, babies on a plane. But
Yeah,
how
I mean, you need documentation for that. Like, did they go and be like, all right, like, are these all her
passport
documents?
something like
Like, here, her mom died.
That's all the paperwork I need.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that baby becomes Peruvian property.
she is Peruvian. She was born on Peruvian soil. What you just reminded me though, was he supposed to be her what was that bald-headed lady in Doctor Strange? Was he supposed to be her to Madam Web when they were
The
in
ancient one? Yeah.
Yeah, was he
I'm
supposed to
pretty
be
sure
her
that's
ancient
exactly
one?
what that was supposed to be.
Because, by the way, how dumb are you that your soul falls into the water? Like, come on, son. You can't
Yeah.
float.
Dude, when he's like, do you trust me? And she's like, I guess I don't really have much of a choice. I'm like, no, we just met, sir.
There's always a choice.
By the way, the best. Okay, this was the best part of the writing that happened. I'm sorry that we're in character development. This is the best writing. This is the best piece of dialogue / action that happened in the entire movie when she had those kids in the forest and she's like, I can see the future. And I thought in my head, I was like, I would throw a rock at her. And then when that girl hucked a rock at her, it was like, see, she can't see the future at all. I was like, yes, that's exactly right. That is exactly what you would do. You would throw a rock at someone that said some dumb nonsense like that.
Oh shit.
Oh man.
Sorry, character development is just for me.
Yeah, like
non-existent.
So I mean, there's a lot of like implication on like Cassie's resentment towards her mother that you have to kind of take into consideration, but I do feel like they healed that resentment very well, like showing off like where her story truly began, like that deal. Like, I think that was pretty well done. And so like when she finally was able to like unlock her potential, and like the way that I think I like the way that he worded this, where he's like, you need to address what happened in the past to move on to your future. Like, I like that.
Yeah, it's things like that again are like, it's the MCU trademark of like, here's something almost good, and then here's the rest of the movie.
Yeah. So power comes great responsibility, because they freaking butchered it. They were like, once you've accepted this great responsibility, great power will come. Like, that's not how this works.
Listen, somehow she had to pass that along to Uncle Ben. But did you hear them double down on it at the end when she put out her little whatever her other people, and said the exact same quote again? I'm like, no, this isn't a thing. It's with great power comes great responsibility. The end, close the door. That's it. There's no
Exactly.
There's no Yoda talking normal. Like, just freaking let the thing be the thing.
Yeah. So personally, I feel like my character development, again, I am taking the implication of resentment into account. Not so much so that it's because like I think if they would have built that resentment better, I'd probably be high 70s, low 80s. Because I enjoyed it that much. But because they didn't account for that, I think I'm somewhere closer to like 72. Where are you
Rose,
at,
I'm gonna
Rose?
need you to go next.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't even give it into the 70s. I think I'll go one higher for my acting. I'll go 67.
listen, you can't. You can't give this thing credit. I feel like for implied character development. That is very generous. And even with the like when the small amount of character development doesn't really add anything to the movie at all, I don't even know if it counts anymore. So I am giving character development a 64.
Fair enough.
Yeah, truly fair enough.
All right, moving on over to effects. This had a really mixed bag.
Yeah,
More so of bad, but I did like her, like like when she crashed and it like opened up into like the webbing. I thought that shit was cool.
I will give you that.
Oh, in the water, you mean?
Yeah,
when
like
she's
how
in
it was
the-
like the windshield, like it cracked and then it just like webbed off and like flaked and all that. Like that looked sick. Like anytime she was in that realm, I thought looked really cool. But
Yes.
the action sequences that weren't practical looked really bad.
I didn't notice a lot of like what is it that like too much uncanny valley. I think at some point, even though I was looking at it, are you ever watching a movie like this and even though you're watching it, you like it's almost like when you're driving and all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I've been driving for like 10 miles. How did I get this far? Like I know I was looking at the road and paying attention, but I don't remember the drive. There were times in this movie where I feel like that happened. And I feel like some of it was like with those moments. Cause like, I don't remember the end because that was the most like heavy CG I remember in this movie. And it didn't seem terrible. It just like the whole movie was so bad. It didn't make it seem good either. So
I think they dropped a majority of it feels like they dropped a majority of their budget on the sequences where they were in suits.
Yeah, it's like the last 3 minutes.
yeah.
I mean, well, you got that moment at the beginning where they were in their suits for a little bit.
Okay, yeah,
But-
that's true.
You know what? You actually just talked me down some because now that I'm thinking about it, those times in the suits were very like PlayStation 2 cutscene. Like,
I will give you that.
Yeah, true that.
like that was supposed to be like the whole jam of like why we care about this movie happening. And they're like, it's kind of fuzzy. It's like foggy. I don't understand why it's not vivid. Like, why don't you make us as scared as him and make this very vivid and very like, oh no. But instead they were like, what if you were just squinting and seeing all this happen?
Dude, this is where I felt like the horror sequence would have like really helped. Because instead of just like, I think it would have been cool to like have them in like shadow and then not see their faces until like later.
Yeah,
Like have them
that would've
most
been
like
cool.
almost come out of the shadows, and then it's like these like he's being haunted by these three faces. Like before that, you get just like terrifying spider sequences. And I think you could have done that with their stuff. Like if he's freaking out, like have like Maddie's character with the freaking like the Doc Ock arms, like grab him and like pin him up against the wall and then like he like escapes or whatever, like, in again not seeing any of their faces, then like he runs out and then gets like blasted from the side by like Julia's like taser webs things. Like, I think you could have done some really cool stuff with that, and like,
Well, that's
following
not
it
what
with
this
like a
movie
horror
was about.
sequence.
Okay, this movie wasn't about cool things happening. It was just about things happening, and happen they did.
Wasted potential.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
ultimately
know.
what it comes down to.
I was gonna say I don't know how to rate this for effects, because like I don't think they were terrible, but I also don't think they were anything that I really care about. Like, honestly, the way most of this movie was, you almost didn't need effects at all. Like, you wouldn't have needed them other than like with her having a vision. Like, there wasn't a lot of him jumping around. It was usually like it was like in that subway scene where you just kind of like saw like flashes of him, and it clearly looked practical to me. So I don't know. I don't know how to rate this.
The way that I'm going about this is my average among average score is 75 and working from there. And I think it was a little bit below. So I'm not giving it a 75. I'm going to give it like a 74.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna meet you there, because I think that's I think that's fair.
I think I'm just going to be a little below you guys at a 72.
And mosquito, sorry.
Oh, I thought like Caleb was mad. I was like, damn it, Rose, you're really giving it that low? Shit. You just want to be lower on all the scores with us, don't you?
Thought it was your kid trying to come in the room. You're like, bap, nope, get out of here.
No, I'm out in the shop now.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you can get crazy out there, huh?
Oh yeah, I can be as loud as I want. I'm actually going to be building out like an office space and whatnot. My shop is huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we not sure if you've heard, but I recently bought a house. And
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So yeah, it came with a big ass shed, and I'm utilizing that space to its fullest potential.
Wait, now here is the most important question. Is there some kind of air conditioning in there? Conditioned air
Yes.
of any kind. Okay, good.
It's actually going right now. I'm glad you can't hear it.
Nope, not at all.
Sweet. But yeah, like I got a fan going, a cooler or an AC unit, garage door so I could bring my car in here and work and not get eaten alive by gnats.
That's dope.
Yeah. Pretty sick.
Excuse me.
I also, just for shits and giggles, and it's actually how I watched this movie, I went out and purchased a projector.
That's
And I
awesome.
watched the movie on the projector with surround sound, so I am living it up.
Yeah, dude. Sick.
I need a better projector. It doesn't show greens very well, but everything else is pretty sick. Yeah. Anyway, moving on over to music. This had a few good songs.
Name two. You said a few.
Okay, well, it had Toxic, and I laughed. It was with I don't know the name of the song off the top of my head.
Are you
But
talking about the end credits?
No, that one was, I like that one too. But
Smash cut to Cranberries is the craziest decision you could ever make.
no, oh shit, what's it called? Oh, the I Think We're Alone Now song, when they were when Cassie was waking the girls up in the motel.
Oh, yeah.
I started laughing super hard because it made me think of Ted. And I like almost like wanted to get up and started like mimicking the dance, because I was drinking I had a freaking Capri Sun out here, so I was like, maybe no one else is out here. Like, I am absolutely alone in here.
Get it, Caleb.
Listen, the Smash cut to Cranberries is a great name of a Cranberries cover band. So anyone out there, take it if you want it. But Smash cutting to Cranberries is again one of the most 90s thing you could possibly do. I'm just saying. I don't know when that song came out, but it's if I told you it was the 90s, you'd believe me.
Yeah. I mean, even including those songs, I don't think the soundtrack was anything crazy impressive. I'm probably at a 7 personally.
I'm just gonna match you with that because I'm yeah.
You can give it whatever you want. Like it averages out now.
I'm gonna go to
Gotta
a
fix
6.
that, but
It just seems too close to musical masterpiece to put it at a 7.
I know. I wish I could label. Like I wish it would let me label the middle ones too. Because like 5, I just had it down as like soundtrack.
Yeah, I'm at a 6 just because of Toxic. If it wasn't for that, I'd be at a 5.
All right, damn. All right, next up we got costumes.
The only good part of the movie, except for Madam Web's costume, which I hated.
Okay, her glasses up close were bullshit, but the suit itself wasn't half bad.
I hated her suit. I thought it looked dumb.
But does it count if it's only on there for 45 seconds? Like, does that really count as a costume?
Fair.
Like, she wore it, but like,
I don't know. Maybe because I mean, the only the what's the word? Exposure I've had to Madam Web is from the '90s Spider-Man series, which to my grave I will say is the best Spider-Man series ever. And so that's the only version of Madam Web I know. And yes, I know her in this one. Her suit is red, but it doesn't look right compared to how it looks in the '90s Spider-Man. Just I wasn't vibing with it, and yeah, with the glasses, especially like you say, Caleb, close up. Oh my god.
Yeah,
Just
they were rough.
so-
I like
it's so
because I
bad.
saw them like at a distance first, and I was like, I don't know what the hell Rose is talking about. Those don't look that bad. And then it zoomed up, and I was like, oh shit.
they look like some crazy like someone was like, I want to cosplay as Cyclops from the X-Men, and this is the closest thing I could get to one of those visors. So here we go, buddy. I'm Cyclops.
Cyclops on a budget. That's
You know what
what
it made me?
Madam Web
It
was.
made me think of the South Park episode where they were being taught by a ski instructor, and
I've
they
not
just
seen
like,
that.
listen, if you like, they were teaching the kids like pizza to stop, French fry to go, and then they're like, if you pizza when you want a French fry, you're gonna have a bad time. And that's kind of what I was like mimicking in my head, because like her goggles were huge.
Yeah.
No, that was
So,
goofy as hell. Like that was
yeah.
clearly put together by someone who is blind. Like,
Yeah.
if anything, they got it a photorealistic too. A blind person wouldn't care how stupid they looked.
I will say the girls' suits looked pretty cool.
Yes, I will give you that.
Does screen time count though? Like, do we count that for anything? Because
So
technically,
it's more like grading on a curve with that, because it's just like they are technically costumes that were in the movie, so we kind of include them. Like if these would have been the suits in the movie, like all throughout, I probably would be sitting around like an 8 or a 9.
well, it dawns on me right now. You know why they couldn't have that movie with them doing all that nonsense, right? It's because what would Dakota Johnson be doing other than like, all right, girls, I'll wait here and I'll tell you if anything crazy is going to happen later, because I'll know.
Go do your thing. Go get him, Tigers.
Yeah.
And
I've
that's it.
actually like, okay, I'm just gonna like come out. I'm giving the costumes a 7 as well, because I actually really liked the red leather jacket that she wore. Like I liked just it was including that bit of red, and it matches with like previous versions of Madam Web that I've seen. they have a version of Madam Web where she wears like red sunglasses. They're not like freaking ski instructor glasses. They're like just normal, or what you'd imagine normal like sunglasses to be, like, but they're red, and she wears a red leather jacket with like a black spider on it, and then she's usually wearing jeans or something. So it fit with the costume that I'm familiar with of her origin. So I liked that, and then I'm like that. I would probably be sitting at like a 6, but I'm giving a bonus point for the girls' outfits, like their suits. And I'm also taking into consideration, I actually really liked Ezekiel's suit.
All right. I said I could be. I told myself I could be talked up from a 5, and you did it. I am talked up to a 6.
I'm actually going to be at Caleb's level of 7.
Hell yeah!
I can't do it. I can't give less than 5 minutes of screen time for those suits, and individually even less time than they get as a whole. I can't do it. I cannot. It's just not. By the way, it's not just the future, like the next day. It's like 10 years from now. So no. By the way, here's a question I have. So is she just going to start biting them? Like, how are they going to get their powers?
That's a great question.
I'm assuming she knows how they're going to get their powers and maybe just won't tell them. Otherwise, it like alters the future.
I mean, clearly, because
like
she
that.
knows Ben's, brother and wife are going to die. And it's
Dude,
like,
how shitty. How shitty is it that she's keeping that secret from her, basically her best friend?
Yeah, that's pretty messed up.
It's pretty hilarious, guys. Come on. It's a comedy movie about jokes.
Dude, I'm a little aggravated that they didn't try to introduce a May.
Yeah, it's
Like,
dumb that they wouldn't let him say her name and that they wouldn't say Peter either. I'm like, guys,
God,
it's the reason why we're here. Like,
the
just
fact
say
that-
the thing.
sorry.
No,
the
go
fact
ahead.
that they hid them saying Peter with like the balloon popping at
So
the baby
whack.
shower. That was so stupid.
so dumb. Dude, it almost like the way that they hit it though, where she guessed, oh, is it Ben? And she's like, no, it's, and then the balloon pop. I was like, that felt very defensive. Like, is Peter Parker actually Uncle Ben's kid?
Yeah, why would you say something like that?
I know, it was just like, it was so sudden. Her reaction just like, it just felt like, no, like,
I think
I'm trying to hide something.
I think I'd rather see that story than this story. Maybe to that multiverse.
Yeah, Uncle Ben sleeps with his sister-in-law.
Oops,
Uncle Ben's
Pete,
not
I was
that
your
good
dad
of
the
a
whole time.
Oh shit.
Good times.
All right. Last up, we got our own personal scores. So, anyone want to take this first?
I'll do it because I'm probably going to be the nicest to this movie. I'm actually going to give it a 70 because actually, you know what? No, I want it to get a solid C from me. I'm going to give it a 75 because even though I have said everything I said about this movie, I would watch it again. Like, I would watch this movie again just to see what I missed during the shock of this movie the first time. Like, it was so, I don't know. I was trying to tell you guys a little bit about Poor Little Things before we started and not spoil anything, but this gets out of me the same kind of like morbid fascination of like, what could possibly happen next? Like, this movie starts like, imagine knowing nothing about Spider-Man, or maybe even a little bit about Spider-Man, and then watching this movie. This movie gives you nothing and is like, you will be happy about it. And also, it's going to end like it started with nothing. Like, this movie does everything and nothing all at once. And it's kind of fascinating to me that it exists at all, because of all the movies we've missed out on. Like, I'm thinking of like that Wile E. Coyote Acme movie that we almost had that they finished, and they're like, no, LOL, just kidding. Like, they didn't want to put out that movie, but they did want to put out this movie. And that to me is crazy. This must be some kind of tax evasion, something. Like, this movie is just fascinating to me because it shouldn't be. Like, this is a movie that should have gone to the cutting room floor. What was the Brendan Fraser Batman movie, the Batgirl? That movie. Why didn't we get that movie? Why did we get this instead of Batgirl? Who will ever know? And I wanted, it just boggles my mind. Plus, again, I watched Dune Part 1, so everything is kind of greater than that.
All right, Rose.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna have to disagree with DJ on all points.
As well, you should.
No, I'm sorry. This is just a horrible movie, in my opinion. There's no saving graces for it. I remember I saw this in theaters with my buddy Ryan, and I was wishing that we could actually like talk and like laugh more out loud for how bad it was, but there were other people in the theater. But like many times throughout, we would literally lean over to each other and be like, like, can you believe that dialogue? Can you believe that the guy's mouth is not matching what he's saying? Just everything is bad in this movie. I feel like the suits are good, but like DJ's got a point. They're barely in it. Like literally 2 scenes. And like the actors I feel are trying with what they've got, but it just doesn't work. So this is probably in like my top 3 worst superhero movies that I have ever seen. Might be the worst. So personally, I think I'm gonna go with 61.
Damn.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not saying that is not the correct answer. I'm just saying that I can't believe I didn't hate this movie more, to be honest with you.
Oh,
Okay, you know what?
What?
Okay, you know what? I'm gonna go up 1.
Don't go change.
60.
Oh, go one
No.
up 1.
Yeah.
Shit.
I'm gonna go 62.
I didn't hate this movie nearly as as maybe it's because my expectations were like below 0, that anything that they did was just kind of like, I mean, it could have been worse. Like, I think that probably could have been the subtitle for this this movie, Madam Web. Not as bad as it could have been.
By the way, Madam Web, it's not Saltburn, because Saltburn was objectively a worse movie than this. I'm sorry.
DJ's hatred for Saltburn is like the best thing ever. I love it.
Real. It's a real thing.
Yeah. So I didn't dislike it. I didn't love it by any means. I do feel like the potential for a good movie was there. I don't think a great movie was in there, but a good one was. And I think that unfortunately, I think if I do re-explore this, it is to just go and analyze what could have been done better. And it's just going to be me critiquing like, oh, this is what I would have done. Like, me basically talking through it being like pretentious as all hell. Like, this is what I would have done if I was in charge of this movie. Like I do with basically every episode of or Marvel movie. I feel like if there's anywhere where I like excel creativity wise, it's like taking an idea and trying to improve it in some way. I don't know if I like my creating stuff from scratch is any good. Like,
I'm sure it is.
well, I mean, we'll see, dude. Total side note. I am very excited to re-listen to our Fantastic Four Dreamcast when that movie comes out, because it seems like they're going to go along with what I thought they were going to.
Dude, yeah.
Like the cast is completely different than what I thought, but if they're going like into that like 70s era or 60s 70s, like that's exactly what I thought
I remember
they were
that.
going to do.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so anyway, that will remain to be seen, but yeah, I think I'm going to be at like a 71 with this. I don't know if I could go any higher. It doesn't feel right to go any lower or higher with that. Like I enjoyed, I
Make me
enjoyed
out
the
to be
movie.
the asshole.
Hey, listen, I'm right there with you because I went higher. So,
All right. Well,
oh yeah, sorry.
yeah, you got to submit your scores so
Sorry.
we can figure out where this is at.
Shit, I'm sorry.
Sorry. I didn't do it either, Rose. I'm sorry. Yes, I did it now though. So if it didn't come through, then I'm not doing it again. Gonna have to re-listen.
No, it did. All right. So going through these scores, starting off with story, we ended up averaging out to a 67.67.
Yes.
The writing is sitting at a 68.33.
Yes.
Acting is sitting at a 66.
Ah, man, we're not gonna crack the 70s in any of these, huh?
Character development is sitting on the same level as story, sitting at a 67.67.
Higher than it deserves.
The effects are sitting at a 73.33.
Okay.
Hey,
I want to double check something real quick because I don't think. Sorry, there was one thing that wasn't adding up right. Music is sitting at a 6 out of 10. The costumes are sitting at a 7 out of 10.
boo.
And then our personal score ended up averaging out to a 69.33.
Hey.
So with that, the final All Bros and Untrained Eye letter grade for Madam Web has come out to a C minus.
No. My goal, I didn't say this, but was to make this a C movie. I cannot believe that it happened.
Dude, no freaking way. I would have sworn for sure that this was going to get a D plus.
That's what I thought too. I was striving for it.
That is fantastic.
I like your rating system again.
All right. So
All right, you
let's
got to
see
go
where this
below.
is.
Below first and then above. Above is going to be, it's going to taste delicious.
Oh, shit. All right. So this is sitting at a 70.91% overall,
Hilarious.
which is at a C minus. It is 0.9% away from being into the D plus range. So there are only 3 movies below it that are C minus movies before it goes into the D plus range. So we're doing what it's below first.
Yes, what it's below first.
Okay. So first off, it is below Star Wars: The Last Jedi.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yes.
It is below Rebel Moon.
Wow.
Yeah,
Rebel Moon
I
got up
think
there,
I
huh?
enjoyed this more than Rebel Moon.
Yeah. Let's see. It is below Morbius.
That's fair.
It is below Dark Phoenix.
Wow. Dark
I-
Phoenix up there, huh? That's wild. That is too high.
I can
for Dark
agree
Phoenix.
with that, though. I think I enjoyed Dark Phoenix more.
And
Whew.
it is below Space Jam: A New Legacy.
Space Jam is way too high. I saw most of that movie and it was not good. Oh,
The
no.
difference between Madam Web and Space Jam: A New Legacy is 3%.
Wow.
That's dude, Space. I don't agree with Space Jam Legacy. That needs to be firmly in the D category somewhere. Anywhere is fine. But
All right, you ready to hear what it's above?
please, God.
Am I going to
God.
quit the show? That's my
You
question.
just might.
Oh, shit.
All right. At
Uh,
a 70.91, it is sitting above Cats.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I haven't seen Cats, but that's hilarious.
This is going to be controversial as all hell. It is above Zack Snyder's Justice League.
I mean, I saw the first 30 minutes and I agree.
All right, now we're in the D plus range because Zack Snyder's Justice League is our bottom C minus. It is above 2019's Charlie's Angels.
Yeah,
Never saw it. Yeah.
it sucked. Please don't watch it, DJ.
It is above Justice League.
Hilarious.
Yeah, okay, I can agree with that.
It is above Doolittle.
Yeah,
The
Doolittle
RDJ joint. Yeah.
And finally, it is above the OG Friday the 13th.
Huh.
all right.
That is interesting. I remember the last time we were near this area, I was surprised that OG Friday the 13th was so low. I get it. I understand why, but I still don't get it. I don't understand why.
So our C minus, our C minus is pretty, we don't have very many C minus movies. We have a decent amount of C's, a decent, a good portion of C minuses, a lot of B's, B minuses, B pluses. Those are pretty high. Our D pluses, D's, and D minuses, we have 4 D pluses, 2 D's, and 2 D minuses, and 3 F's.
Man.
So the margins there, they're not quite as tight because we don't review horrible movies very often.
I feel like that's been my thing the last couple times I've been on the show, is us reviewing movies that are not good.
Yeah, because the last one was Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
Yep. Before
And
that,
Hey,
was
before that
only-
was Chronicles of Narnia.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I feel
Narnia
like-
was higher.
Higher, not as good. Definitely better in my mind than it was in real life, though. But hey, listen, Madam Web was a C minus, and that's all that matters for all of you out there in All Bros land. You're welcome. We did it. We did it for the boys.
Oh man.
And made this movie from the 90s relevant again.
Hey, Caleb, question. So you know how sometimes we regrade movies?
Yes.
Is it possible that we can do an episode where we regrade Zack Snyder's Justice League? Because
I will say I do feel like that is one that kind of got shit on because we had guests on with that one that hated the movie.
Yeah, and from what I remember, we did not hate it.
No, so I think if I remember correctly, our scores alone would have put Zack Snyder's Justice League at a C plus.
Okay,
But
yeah,
they failed it.
yeah.
And so it brought it down to a C minus.
So I'd love to throw that into the hat of episodes where we regrade movies and give them the grade that they actually deserve.
We can't
Listen.
live stream that one.
Wait, what?
We can't live stream that one like we did with the other 3.
Oh yeah, that's true.
We're not doing a 4-hour stream of watching Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Come on, man, just split it into 2 parts.
You can just regrade it. You don't need the whole rigmarole.
Yeah. But yeah, now that we have it split into categories, we can find out like where it's sitting within like the Marvel Sony universe. Which,
Oh,
surprise, surprise, is at the bottom.
Whoa, shocker.
Oh, what
Wait.
the hell?
Madam Web is or Justice League is?
So yeah, on our rating system now, like since I've gone in and updated it, we can add categories to the movies. And so with Marvel movies, or just, so I have it split up into like Ghostbusters, Transformers, like so I have it split up where it's we can do like Marvel, Marvel MC, like so I have it like Marvel MCU, Marvel Sony, and Marvel. What's the other one?
Animated or something?
No. Oh, Marvel Legacy. So that's like X-Men, Spider-Man, Blade, like those ones. So we can search it by that now, which has been super fun. But like I added that on, so we like if we wanted to see like where something ranked in a very specific category. So like overall, like if we do Marvel, this is what the fuck at the bottom of the list. But yeah, so like in order of moving up the list, it's Madam Web, then more at the bottom, then Morbius, Dark Phoenix, Venom, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Spider-Man, Venom, Let There Be Carnage, New Mutants, and then getting into Love and Thunder. And
hold on, Let There Be Carnage ranked better than the first Venom movie?
Yeah,
that
by
is
3%.
Nope, that's wrong. That's not
That's
correct.
wrong. I'd have to rewatch the movie, but I'm pretty sure I stand by that.
No, you don't. I can't accept that. It's terrible. That's a bad take. I watched
Eternals all over again.
I watched Let There Be Carnage semi recently, and God, that movie was not it. Like Venom was so much better than Let There Be Carnage, and they were both terrible. I don't know, man. All right, let's do it right now. Let's go. Venom. No, I'm kidding.
All right. Well, I can pull up and see what happened with Venom.
No, it's just you're wrong.
Wrong.
That's all he has to say is just we're wrong, Caleb. We're wrong.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't know. I don't know why I didn't like it. Let There Be Carnage seemed very boring. Not boring, but like I don't know. It was just it didn't move as quickly as I would have liked it to. Plus, I feel like what's his face, Woody Harrelson's wig was terrible. Like, come on, guys, get a budget. Or wait, was that
that?
Yeah, I would give you that as well.
Yeah, they were pretty neck and neck. The only place where one differed from the other was the effects, and then the music and costumes were better. And then I think our personal scores were a bit higher for that too.
Interesting.
So we liked Let There Be Carnage more. We thought that they had better effects, better music, and better costumes, and everything else was pretty neck and neck. Like the story was the exact same. The writing, there was a difference of 3 points. And then character development, we actually thought Let There Be Carnage was worse. So, I mean, pretty neck and neck. It was just those few things bumped it up.
I humbly disagree.
Oh man.
Yeah, but anyway, so that's where Madam Web is sitting, and I gotta say I don't totally disagree.
I just agree with the Justice League, the Zack Snyder one, not Justice League. But
Yeah, that one's a tough sell. But
I really hope people come out of the woodworks to be like, DJ, you are a stupid idiot for this. How could you let this happen? It's only you why this is a C. Because by the way, I am the only reason this movie is a C anything. And it's hilarious that it made it by what would you say 0.9% that it made it into C.
yeah. Well, you graded me and you like were equal on writing. You were nicer with the acting. You were meaner on the character development. Tied with me on effects. Lower than, or you and Rose were equal on music. Then you were actually lower on costumes, and then your personal score was just higher than ours. So it's not like you were like overly nice to it. Like you had categories where you were meaner.
Just saying, this was a C movie. I knew it from the very beginning.
All right. Well, I believe that wraps up this week's breakdown, and this has been a very fun one. So thank you, DJ, for joining us on this one. Would you like to tell everyone where they can find you and your show when you decide to come out of your coma?
If you would like to hear me and my beautiful wife speak to each other, there are still old episodes up. You can look up the Untrained Eye, EYE, anywhere, wherever you're listening right now. Type in the Untrained Eye. We're there. It's a purple thing. You'll see a thing, and we're talking on it. At Untrained iPod anywhere, mainly Instagram, but I'm usually just creeping around. I might post a story here and there, but I'm usually just looking at stuff. And you can find me at my house, just hanging out, playing the new Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. Very good. I highly recommend it.
I've seen that. Is that one on Game Pass right now?
It is not, as far as I know. It just went on. It was like when it came out, it was like $50, but it came out in January, and then like over the past like week, it went on sale for like $30. And it was $30 on Amazon, like for a physical copy. So I was like, you know what? I'll go physical for this one. And I bought it, and I have not put it down since it arrived at my home.
nice. Yeah.
Dude, I've been that way with Far Cry 6 lately. Like I've been freaking obsessed.
Good on you. I downloaded it. I played 10 minutes of it and was like, goodbye, uninstall, never again. Sorry, Juan Carlos Esposito, you can't do it for me.
Dude, he's good. He's got some good shit later on in the game. But I also the type of person that will go in and I try to clear everything to make it really easy on myself with the stories. And it's hilarious because I've cleared out almost every single base, and then I do a mission, and it's supposed to try and make it harder for you. And so it's like, oh, the military presence is more, and so it'll bump it up a little bit by like a point. And I'm like, okay, cool. I've already cleared out like 90% of these bases.
What was it? I think the last thing I've been playing on Xbox that I just finished was Cyberpunk 2077. Very good. I got 2 of the bad endings though. Like there's at least 3 endings, and the 2 endings I got, not the good ones, I don't think.
Oh man.
So there you go.
Yeah. All right. So next week we don't know what we're going to do yet. So we will figure that out. And so next week's episode will be as much of a surprise for you guys as it is for us.
Yeah.
Do it on Monkey Man. Isn't that movie coming out? The Monkey Man. What is that movie called?
Yeah, I think it is Monkey Man.
That one's coming to Netflix, right?
No,
I don't know.
Oh, it's
It looks
theaters?
very interesting.
Okay. But anyway, so yeah, you guys can look forward to that next week. I will post links to everything that DJ does in the description. If you liked our episode, wanted listen to more of our stuff, be sure to follow and subscribe everywhere you listen to podcasts. We are basically everywhere. Same thing with social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, everything. We're also on our website, tinyurl.com/the-allbros, and you can find links to everything that we do on there. So until next week, this has been the All Bros podcast featuring DJ from the Untrained Eye, and we'll catch you guys next week. Deuces.
See ya.
Oh, you're lame.
Bye-bye.
Well, I'm sorry.
See you real soon.